Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Literature and Random Videos by Neha Sultana. So before jumping to the video, I would like to say if you are new here, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video and share the video and leave a lovely comment on this video. So this video includes detailed section on what to prepare for NTA UGC NET examination for English literature. Okay. So I'm Neha Sultana and today I'm going to guide you through what you need to prepare for the UGC NET exam in English literature. Whether you are a first time aspirant or looking to improve your score. So this video will cover all the essential areas you need to focus on. The UGC NET exam is a gateway to a career in academia and research, and preparing for it requires a well-rounded understanding of English literature. So let's dive into the key areas you need to cover for this examination that is held on this month, I think 18th of June. So section 1 is all about poets. First, let's talk about poets. You should familiarize yourself with major poets from different periods, including the first one is Chaucer and medieval poets, Shakespeare and the Elizabethan era, metaphysical poets like John Donne, and romantic poets such as Wordsworth, Coleridge, and Keats, and modern poets like T.S. Eliot and W.B. Yeats. Study their major works, themes, styles, and contributions to literature. And the second the second section is all about essayist. Essays are crucial. So focus on Francis Bacon, Charles Lamb, William Hazlitt, and George Orwell. Understand their key essays, writing styles, and the socio-political context they wrote in. And the third section is all about dramatists. Dramatists have a significant place in the UGC NET syllabus. So make sure to study classical dramatists like Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides. And from Elizabethan and Jacobean dramatists like Shakespeare, Marlowe, and Ben Jonson. Modern dramatists such as Bernard Shaw and Samuel Beckett. So focus on their major plays, themes, characters, analysis, and their impact on drama. That's the most important thing. And our section 4 is all about prose and fiction. So when it comes to prose and fiction, you need to cover novelists like Jane Austen. She is one of my favorite because I really liked her Pride and Prejudice. And I also watched a movie, Pride and Prejudice, on Netflix also. So novelists like Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, and Thomas Hardy. Modern novelists like Virginia Woolf, James Joyce, and Salman Rushdie. So prose writers such as Jonathan Swift and Daniel and Defoe. So pay attention to their narrative techniques and major themes and historical context. Okay, and then section 5 is about poetry analysis. For poetry, you must be adept at analyzing poetic forms, meters, and figures of speech. Practice and analyzing poems from different periods and styles to sharpen your skills and in addition to these topics, in addition to these specific areas, make sure you read critical essays and theories. Stay updated with the literary terms and movements, and practice previous year question papers for sure, and join study groups or online forums for discussion. And if you want to crack UGC NET in one attempt, means keep a consistent study schedule and revise regularly. That should be consistent. uh, and now I'm gonna discuss 12 chapters in lengthy. So the first one is chapter 1, Old and Middle English, 500 to 1300 AD. Lesson 1 is all about introduction to Anglo-Saxon period, historic background, and theme, style. And lesson 2 is all about important works of Anglo-Saxon period. And lesson number 3, introduction to Anglo-Norman literature, historic background, theme, and style. And lesson number 4 is all about important works of Anglo-Norman period. Chapter 2 is about age of Chaucer, 1300 to 1400 AD. And the first lesson is about introduction to Chaucerian age, historic background, and theme, style. Lesson number 2 is all about Geoffrey Chaucer. You have to read about him, everything, his all works. And lesson number 3, William Langland. And lesson number 4, John Wycliffe. Lesson number 5, John Mandeville. Lesson number 6, John Gower. And lesson number 7, Thomas Hoccliffe. And lesson number 8, John Lydgate. Chapter 3 is all about age of revival, from 1400 to 1550 AD. So in this, the first lesson is about introduction to age of revival, and in which you have to study historic background, theme, style. And second lesson is about Erasmus. Third is about Thomas More. Lesson number 4 is about William Tyndale. And lesson number 5 is about Richard Tottel. And lesson number 6 is about Thomas Watt. And lesson number 7 is about Henry Howard. Lesson number 8 is about Roger Astram. And lesson number 9 is about Thomas Eliot. And lesson number 10 is about Thomas Mallory. Lesson number 11 is about William Dunbar. And chapter 4 is all about Elizabethan age, from 1550 to 1600 AD. And the first lesson is about like as usual, introduction to Elizabethan age, historic background, theme, and style. And lesson number 2, popular Bible translations. You have to read all about popular Bible translation. And third is about it consists only poets, okay. So third lesson is about Edmund Spenser, Thomas Sackville, and Philip Sidney, and Michael Drayton. So there is another section in this chapter is about dramatist. Lesson number 7 is about history and background of English theatre. And lesson number 8 is about early Elizabethan plays, and Christopher Marlowe. And the 10th one is Robert Greene, and Thomas Nash, and John Lilly. Okay, John Lilly, and Thomas Lodge, George Pale, Thomas Kidd, and William Shakespeare. So there is another section is there in this chapter is all about essayist. So you have to study about these all essayist. Lesson number 17 is about Francis Bacon, Richard Hooker, and Walter Raleigh, Richard Hakluyt, Samuel Purchas, John Fox, William Camden, and John Knox. So chapter 5 is all about Jacobean and Caroline age from 1600 to 1614. So lesson number 1 is all about introduction to Jacobean and Caroline age. It includes its historic background, theme, and style. And this chapter consists of dramatist. So the lesson number 2 consists of Ben Jonson, lesson number 3 George Chapman, and lesson number 4 Bitmont and Fletcher, and lesson number 5 John Webster. And Thomas Middleton, Thomas Heywood, Thomas Dekker, Philip Massigner, John Ford, and James Shirley, and John Marston. And this chapter consists poets. So you all have to study about poets such as John Donne, Richard Crashaw, Henry Vaughan, and George Herbert, Andrew Marvell, Abraham Cowley, Thomas Crave, John Suckling, and Richard Lovelace, and Robert Herrick. And our chapter number 6 is all about civil war and intrignum. So the first lesson is all about introduction to civil war and intrignum period. Consists of history, and so you have to study about its history and background. And lesson number 2 is about John Milton, John Bunyan, and Robert Burton, and Thomas Brown. And lesson number 6 is about Jeremy Taylor, Richard Baxter, Isaac Walton, and Thomas Fuller. And chapter 7 is all about Restoration Age. Just go through it. It's from 1660 to 1700 AD. Lesson number 1, it's about introduction to Restoration Age, historic background, and theme and style. And it consists of another. So this chapter consists of another section that is about prose writers. So you have to go through all these writers. So the first one is John Dryden and Samuel Butler, John Evelyn, Samuel Pepys, Jeremy Collier, and William Dampier, John Wilmot, Thomas Raymer. Another section of this chapter consists of dramatist. So you have to go through these all dramatists like George Thirage, William Wycherley, George Farquhar, John Van Brugh, Colley Cibber, Thomas Otway, William Congreve, Ephra Behn, John Gay. Chapter 8 is about Enlightenment Age. It starts from 1700 to 1800 AD. So lesson number 1 is about Introduction to Age of Enlightenment, historic background, and theme style. So this chapter consists another section which is about prose writers. There are writers such as Alexander Pope, Jonathan Swift, Richard Steele, Joseph Addison, Samuel Johnson. And another section of this chapter consists of novelists such as Daniel Defoe, Henry Fieldings, Samuel Richardson, Tobias Smollett, Lawrence Stephen, and Charlotte Lennox. There is another section which is about poets. So the first one is Thomas Gray, Oliver Goldsmith, and William Cowper, Robert Burns, William Blake, James Thomson, William Collins. and George Crabbe, James Macpherson, Thomas Chatterton, Thomas Percy, John Stagg. And the ninth chapter is about romantic age. It starts from 1800 to 1850 AD. So the lesson number 1 is all about introduction to romantic age. What is romantic age? How it was started, and historic background. It's a historic background, theme, style, and this chapter consists of a section that is about poets. So you have to go through all these poets, such as William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Robert Southey, Lord Byron, B.B. Shelley, John Keats, John Clare. So there is another section is about prose writers. They are William Hazlitt, Leigh Hunt, Charles Lamb, Thomas De Quincey. So this chapter consists one more section which is about novelist. They are Walter Scott, Jane Austen, Walter Savage, Landor, Mary Shelley, Anne Radcliffe, Horace Walpole, Fanny Burney, William Godwin, Richard Sheridan. Chapter 10 is about Victorian age. So Victorian age starts from 1850 to 1900 AD. So the lesson number 1 is about introduction to Victorian age. What is Victorian age, how it was started, what was there in that, and its historic background, theme, style. So this chapter consists of poets. So the first one is Alfred Lord Tennyson, Robert Browning, and Elizabeth Barrett Browning, Dante Gabriel Rossetti, and Christian Rossetti, William Morris. And A.C. Swinburne, G.M. Hopkins, Edward Fitzgerald. So this chapter also consists another section that is about novelist, Charles Dickens, William Makepeace, Thackeray, George Eliot, Charles Reade, Anthony Trollope, Charlotte Bronte, Emily Bronte, Anne Bronte, Bulwer Lytton, Charles Kingsley, Elizabeth Gaskell, R.D. Blackmore, George Meredith, Thomas Hardy, R.L. Stevenson, Lewis Carroll, William Wilkie Collins, Arthur Conan Doyle. So this chapter also consists another section that is about essayists. So you have to go through all these essayists. That is Thomas Babington, Macaulay, Thomas Carlyle, John Ruskin, Matthew Arnold, J.H. Newman, Walter Pater, and Oscar Wilde. And chapter 11 is all about modern age, that is started from 1900 to 1950 AD. And the lesson number 1 is all about introduction to modern age, historic background, themes, and styles. And this chapter also consists another section that is about novelist. So you have to go through all these novelists. So the our first one is Joseph Conrad, and George Orwell, James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, and D.H. Lawrence. And I am doing a project work right now on D.H. Lawrence's Sons and Lover. And Aldous Huxley, Graham Greene, E.M. Foster, Ford Madox Ford, Arnold Bennett, H.G. Wells, J.M. Barrie, Rudyard Kipling, Samuel Butler. So this chapter also consists another section which is about dramatist, that is John Galsworthy, G.B. Shaw, T.S. Eliot, C. N. Casey, J.M. Sinch. One more section is about poets, that is W.H. Auden, W.B. Yeats, Siegfried Sassoon, Wilfred Owen, Rupert Brooke, Robert Graves, Dylan Thomas, John Mansfield, Alfred Noyes, and A.E. Houseman. And the last chapter is about postmodern age. So it was started in 1950 and continued till 2000 AD. And the first lesson is about introduction to postmodern age and its historic background, theme and style. And this chapter consists a section that is about novelist Yes, the first one is Agatha Christie, Janet Winterson, J.R.R. Tolkien, Bram Stoker, Christopher Isherwood, and Bertrand Russell, J.M. Priestley, Somrest Maugham, Doris Lessing, J.K. Rowling. Oh my god, J.K. Rowling is one of my most favorite because I have seen all of his Harry Potter movies. And William Goldings, Ian McEwan, Lawrence Durrell, Graham Swift, Martin Amis, and Kingsley Amis, Iris Murdoch, John Fowles, Muriel Spark, A.S. Batt, Malcolm Bradbury, Angela Carter, Patrick Kavanagh, J.P. Donlevy, Anthony Powell, David Story, Joyce Carey, Angus Wilson, Anthony Burgess, Peter Ackroyd. And this chapter also consists one more section that is about dramatists, and the dramatists are Alan Bennett, Noel Coward, Christopher Fry, Harold Pinter, Samuel Beckett. I just hate Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot because nothing is there in that drama. Consists of 2 acts. And Edward Bond, Tom Stoppard, Terence Rattigan, Arnold Wesker, John Osborne, Carol Churchill, Joe Orton. So this chapter also consists one more section that is about poets, and the poets are Seamus Heaney, Ted Hughes, Philip Larkin, Roy Fuller, Tom Gunn, J.H. Friend, Geoffrey Hill. So that's all for today. I hope this video helps you in your preparation for the UGC NET exam in English literature. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, that is Real Literature and Random Videos by Neha Sultana, for more insightful content. Good luck with your studies and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.